Hello aspirants, welcome to Introspection IS. We are excited to kick off a new series where we will be diving deep into the UPSC prelims, focusing on the questions asked in previous years. To begin, we will start with a polity section analyzing key questions and concepts that frequently asked. In this series, we will discuss each question by topic, helping you build a structured approach for your preparations. So let's get started and make your UPSC journey more insightful and effective. So first, we will see the syllabus prescribed by UPSC. So UPSC has given a syllabus with respect to the polity. So अगर हम पॉलिटी सेक्शंस का सिलेबस देखते हैं तो यूपीएससी ने मेंशन किया है इंडियन पॉलिटी एंड गवर्नेंस. अंडर इंडियन पॉलिटी एंड गवर्नेंस वी हैव टू स्टडी द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस, पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम, पंचायती राज, पब्लिक पॉलिसी, राइट्स इशू एंड एक्सेट्रा. So the UPSC has just generalized the syllabus. Now we need to dissect the syllabus to understand what we have to study for the prelims. For dissections, the questions which has been asked in previous year will help us analyzing the each of these subtopic mentioned under the syllabus by UPSC. तो इसको समझने के लिए व्हाट वी हैव टू स्टडी इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन, हमें क्या पढ़ना है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में, पॉलिटिकल स्ट्रक्चर में क्या पढ़ना है, पंचायती राज से कैसे अप्रोच रखना है पंचायती राज को पढ़ते समय, या पब्लिक पॉलिसी से रिलेटेड हमने एक ऐसा मैकेनिज्म डिवाइस किया है जिसको हम ये सारे सब टॉपिक्स जो मेंशंस हैं यूपीएससी में, इसको हम क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू, टॉपिक वाइज क्वेश्चंस के थ्रू समझेंगे कि अगर हमें कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस में पढ़ना है तो क्या पढ़ना है. हमें बेसिक्स पढ़नी है कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस की, देन वी हैव टू स्टडी द एक्ट, हिस्टोरिकल पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस, देन लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द पार्ट थर्ड ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस, राइट. फंडामेंटल राइट से पढ़ने हैं, क्या पढ़ना है, कैसा क्वेश्चंस पूछ रहे हैं आजकल, क्या पैटर्न रहा है उनका क्वेश्चंस पूछने का, क्या फैक्चुअल ज़्यादा है, कंसेप्चुअल ज़्यादा है, तो हमें दोनों पे फोकस करना है. If you in this video we'll discuss and we will also analyze some method जो help करेगा all the students, those who have appeared earlier also or for those who have been appearing for the first time also. So अगर हम बात करें जो लोग first time appear हो रहे हैं, so for them it is a very good time to start preparations or analyzing a previous year paper. That will help you to analyze कि हमें सिर्फ fact based पर रहना है या concept पे रहना है, या we need to combine the both. And those who has earlier appeared in examinations, they have might be very clear in their mind कि the today's pattern of an UPSC is not only a fact based or concept based, rather it's both a combination of both. मोर फोकसिंग ऑन कंसेप्ट बेस्ड. द प्रीवियस अगर आप देखेंगे तो अगर क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं, सपोज कीजिए कि 10 क्वेश्चंस पॉलिटी में पूछे गए हैं, जस्ट टेकिंग एन एग्जांपल. सो आउट ऑफ दिस 10 क्वेश्चंस अप्रोक्स 6 to 7 क्वेश्चंस will be either based on fully on based on concept, or there will be a combination of concept and fact. So what I try to say that we not only need to focus one liner और fact को देखते हुए चले, हमसे हमें concept build करने की इसमें बहुत ही आवश्यकता है. So for that what the introspection has come up with that कि we will analyze a topic wise questions. कि एक मान लीजिए जैसे if we talk about the basic of the constitutions, if we are talking about the basic of constitutions, कि आपने जैसे क्वेश्चन देखा होगा व्हाट इज कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनलिज्म और अ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट, राइट. तो ये क्या है, तो इनसे क्वेश्चंस किस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं और क्या होते हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट. जिन्होंने पहले एग्जाम दिया हुआ है दे आर वेल नोइंग अबाउट दिस, तो उनके लिए हेल्प ऐसा होगा कि वी हैव जस्ट अरेंज the questions, and on the right side of the slide we have given the concept important and in a very precise manner कि हम questions को ये देख लेंगे कि कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट क्या है, उसमें क्या क्या कंसेप्ट हैं, क्या फीचर है, कि अगर क्वेश्चंस फिर से कभी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल गवर्नमेंट पे क्वेश्चंस इन फ्यूचर अगर आता हो देन इट विल बी वेरी हेल्पफुल फॉर अस कि किसी भी टाइप के क्वेश्चंस अगर पूछे तो वी विल बी इन अ पोजीशंस टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चंस. So this is the motive of an introspection IS. Is it clear? So let's begin then. So next we will see some pattern which is been asked in examinations of polity UPSC में पूछा गया. So अगर आप यहाँ देखिए तो I have made a chart, a pie chart on a basis of distribution of topic कि किस topic से ज़्यादा questions पूछे जा रहे हैं. So if we come to this questions in this, the topic is been basic of polity, historical background, salient feature, preamble, citizens, fundamental rights, DPSP and fundamental duties. ये हमने पहले स्लाइड में कवर किया है. अगर नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में बात करूं तो हियर एग्जीक्यूटिव. नाउ व्हेन वी विल डिस्कस एग्जीक्यूटिव, सो वी विल डिस्कस एग्जीक्यूटिव ऑफ यूनियन प्लस स्टेट एग्जीक्यूटिव. जैसे यूनियन में बात करें तो हम यहाँ पर देखेंगे प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ इंडिया से कैसे क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं, प्राइम मिनिस्टर से कैसे क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं, काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर से क्या क्वेश्चन होता है, या अटॉर्नी जनरल फॉर इंडिया से कैसे क्वेश्चंस आ रहा है. सिमिलरली अगर हम स्टेट एग्जीक्यूटिव से देखेंगे तो मोस्टली क्वेश्चंस गवर्नर से आ रहे हैं, कैसा क्वेश्चन पूछ रहे गवर्नर से, क्या कंसेप्चुअल क्वेश्चंस है, क्या कंपेरिजन है गवर्नर और प्रेसिडेंट्स के पावर में, क्या उसके बेस पे क्वेश्चन है या नहीं, प्लस लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल पे, लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली पे क्वेश्चंस आ रहे हैं. तो दिस ऑल वी विल कवर अंडर द एग्जीक्यूटिव. देन वी विल सी द लेजिस्लेटिव और लेजिस्लेचर. अगेन इन द लेजिस्लेचर हम इसमें भी पार्लियामेंट कवर करेंगे, पार्लियामेंट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चंस होगा, प्लस स्टेट लेजिस्लेचर से क्वेश्चन होगा. तो अंडर दिस ऑल्सो वी विल सी द पावर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट, कमिटी, लोकसभा राज्यसभा बिल कैसे इंट्रोड्यूस होता है, मनी बिल, बजट, एवरीथिंग अंडर दिस ज्वाइंट सिटिंग जो क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर और उससे रिलेटेड कंसेप्ट भी हम यहाँ देखेंगे. सिमिलरली वी विल आल्सो सी द लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली काउंसिल का कैसे फॉर्मेशंस कौन करता है, ऑल ऑफ दिस. देन वी विल सी द जुडिशियरी हाई कोर्ट, सुप्रीम कोर्ट, लोअर जुडिशियरी ऑल्सो. इफ देयर आर सम क्वेश्चंस ट्रिब्यूनल से कुछ क्वेश्चंस होंगे तो दैट ऑल्सो वी विल सी अंडर दिस सुप्रीम कोर्ट, हाई कोर्ट एंड ट्रिब्यूनल और एनी काइंड ऑफ सब ऑर्डिनेट जुडिशरी. ठीक है. देन अमेंडमेंट्स, आर्टिकल 368 की बात करें, अमेंडमेंट से कैसे क्वेश्चंस आते हैं. शेड्यूल्स एक ऐसा क्वेश्चन है जो पूछा जाता है ऑलवेज. देन अ लोकल सेल, दिस इज इंपॉर्टेंट बिकॉज दिस इज क्लियरली मेंशन इन द syllabus about the panchayati raj system, so this we have to study it. Then there are bodies इसमें constitutional bodies से भी questions आ जाते हैं and non-constitutional bodies have been also been asked in the examination, so we will also see all of these. Miscellaneous questions जो कुछ ऐसे terms पूछे जा रहे हैं questions में जो हमें एक्स्ट्रा पढ़ने की ज़रूरत है या कहीं बाहर से देखने की ज़रूरत है. जैसे जुडिशियल टर्म पूछ लिए जाते हैं जनरली. व्हाट इज़ it is related to bail, whether anticipatory, what is anticipatory bail, payroll क्या है and all this. So this we have covered under the miscellaneous sections. Here and under the first slide, it is basically basic of polity. So if you see the first, if out of this topic the basic of polity covers the most part of this sections. So यानी हम अगर basic of polity को अच्छे से कर लें, अच्छे से उसको प्रैक्टिस कर लें, क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए लास्ट ईयर में उससे देख लें, तो वी विल बी इन पोजीशंस कि अगर क्वेश्चंस बेसिक ऑफ पॉलिटी से आते हैं तो 90 to 95% ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस हम उसे करेक्ट कर लें, अपने बेसिस पे फैक्ट कुछ देख लेंगे. और मान लीजिए फैक्ट अगर हम कुछ ऐसा फैक्ट पूछा जाता है जो हमने नहीं पढ़ा हो बट हम अपने बेस नॉलेज बेस पे और कंसेप्ट बेस पर हम उससे एलिमिनेट भी कर सकते हैं इफ़ यू गॉट अ चांस. क्योंकि आज तो यूपीएससी ने कुछ ऐसा पिछले कुछ समय से पैटर्न चेंज किया है कि एलिमिनेशन थ्योरी को भी काम नहीं कर रहा है. सो दैट मेक्स और जॉब मोर यू कैन से डिफिकल्ट, जहाँ पर हमें अब थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है. देन विल सी द हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड. देयर आर वेरी फ्यू क्वेश्चंस बीन आस्क्ड फ्रॉम हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड. Similarly, historical background or salient features there's also been very few. Preamble से बहुत कम क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए हैं. सिटीजनशिप से क्वेश्चंस आज एक या दो आए हैं. दिस इज नो यूज. अगर आप इस टॉपिक को नहीं भी कवर करते हो तो क्वेश्चंस एक दो क्वेश्चंस आएंगे या यहाँ पे नहीं भी आ सकते हैं. देयर हैज नॉट बीन अ क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द पार्ट फर्स्ट ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन. अभी तक पार्ट फर्स्ट से क्वेश्चंस नहीं पूछे गए हैं, दो दिस इज बीन कवर्ड अंडर द अदर सेक्शन. जैसे अमेंडमेंट में स्टेटमेंट दे दिया कि does article 3 comes under the amendment of 368 or not, but directly if we see part first ऐसा कोई such questions नहीं है, so we will not going to discuss all this. Then there comes the fundamental right. Again the fundamental rights has a very important role to play in your preparations. syllabus में भी उसमें है, constitutions में पढ़ना है, DPSP. So the point of this and the last is fundamental duty. There are very few questions. Questions fundamental duty से बहुत simple questions पूछे गए हैं. We will see those questions. What are the which of the following comes under fundamental duties? Which has been added by amendments or not? Is there any be amendment made by or not? The relations between the duties and rights has been asked. Rights and duties are different or something, they are related or not. This type of questions we will see. So this type of questions will be discussed through the judgment of the Supreme Court. So under this three topic, fundamental rights, directive principles and fundamental duties, including the preamble part, this yellow section of this part will also be include certain judgment which has been provided by the Supreme Court. तो इसमें क्या फर्क आता है, we will also see these. Clear? So if we talk about the next series, so next important series if we see the legislature, it is legislative. So if we see in this legislative, let me erase first all this. तो आप legislature में देखिए तो legislature make a very huge part in the questions or UPSC pattern. So हम पैटर्न वाइज अगर चलेंगे, अगर हम टॉपिक वाइज करते हैं कवर, तो आप मान कर चलिए कि जब आपने लेजिस्लेचर कर लिया तो लेजिस्लेचर में एक ह्यूज सेक्शन होगा कवर आपका कि लेजिस्लेचर से क्वेश्चन देयर ऑलवेज इन एवरी ईयर देयर आर क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम लेजिस्लेचर. सो देयर आर सर्टेन पॉइंट्स. देखिए यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन रिक्वायर्स नॉट ओनली व्हाट वी नीड टू रीड बट ऑल्सो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हाट नॉट टू रीड. हमें क्या नहीं पढ़ना है, क्योंकि सिलेबस बहुत जनरलाइज सिलेबस यूपीएससी ने दे रखा है. तो फॉर दैट व्हाट वी नीड इज दैट वी कैन थ्रू द प्रीवियस ईयर पेपर. सो एक हम पैटर्न देखिए, एग्जैक्ट पैटर्न तो विल नॉट इन अ पोजिशन टू फाइंड, बट एक लमसम पैटर्न हम कोशिश करेंगे जिससे वी विल कम इन टू द प्लान. वी कैन कम अप विद अ प्लान कि चलिए हम इन सेक्शंस को कर लें. अगर हमें लास्ट में नहीं भी मौका मिलता तो वी कैन रिजॉल्व द और वी कैन विन अ वेरी गुड पोजिशन कि वी कैन क्वालिफाई द प्रीलिम्स एंड वी विल बी एलिजिबल फॉर मेंस. सो उसमें अगर हम मान लीजिए हम जुडिशियरी लेजिस्लेचर की बात करें, सो वी कैन नॉट स्किप द लेजिस्लेचर. गेटिंग माय पॉइंट, बिकॉज इट इज ह्यूज परसेंटेज, इट इज अ ह्यूज एरिया विच इज बीन कवर्ड. फिर अगर आप देखें देन मिसलेनियस इज ऑल्सो वेरी गुड. देन इफ यू सी द शेड्यूल्ड क्वेश्चन इज been asked, then executive part of this is though there is a question. So अगर आप इसमें से मान लीजिए suppose if you do not cover the miscellaneous, और अगर miscellaneous आपका नहीं हो पाता है, कुछ टर्म आप कर लेते हो, कुछ टर्म ऐसे पूछे जाते हैं, कुछ क्वेश्चंस ऐसे होंगे जहाँ पर आप शायद आप नहीं कर पाओ, तो उसके लिए लेकिन उसको छोड़ने के लिए अगर आप miscellaneous मान लो नहीं कर पाते हो, आपने जो पढ़ा उससे क्वेश्चन नहीं आकर के कुछ और क्वेश्चन आता है, तो एटलीस्ट आप तो ये कॉन्फिडेंस होगा कि हमने ये सब सेक्शन सही से किया है और जिसमें हम अच्छा सा परफॉर्म कर पाएंगे. इज इट क्लियर? सिमिलरली अगर हम फर्स्ट स्लाइड में देखें तो अगर इफ यू गो टू द फर्स्ट स्लाइड, सो इन दिस लेट मी इरेज फर्स्ट ऑल दिस, सॉरी. So if we go to the first slide, और अगर आप सिलेबस को डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ सिलेबस देखते हैं तो इफ यू आप अगर फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज को क्वेश्चन आता है और आप उसे नहीं कर पाते, रिमेंबर नहीं कर पाते, इट हैपेंस कि होता है कभी कि हमें याद नहीं आया या सिटीजनशिप पढ़ने का टाइम नहीं मिला या नहीं कर पाए, दिस नॉट मेक एन मच इफेक्ट इन योर पेपर, क्योंकि एक क्वेश्चन मे बी इन अ स्टेटमेंट गिवन दैट हैज टू बी डन, और अगर हो सकता है दैट स्टेटमेंट मे बी यू कैन करेक्ट थ्रू योर बेसिक नॉलेज. आपने अभी तक प्रिपरेशंस की है तो उसके बेस पर आप उस क्वेश्चंस को कर जाएंगे. So there is no such issue, but there are certain sections which we need to focus. So the introspection IS has come up with such plans कि हम each of these questions के accordingly, sections के accordingly यहाँ इस questions को रखेंगे, इस questions को हम discuss करेंगे, उसके concept पे discuss करेंगे. We will also see the other options of the questions कि why the other options are wrong, why and most probably the answer है that is mostly coincide with the UPSC answer. We will try our best कि हम UPSC में जो आंसर है उसके साथ coincide करें और उसको ही यहाँ पर discuss करेंगे. Is it clear? So this is what we have discussed from the pattern related distributions of topics under the UPSC with respect to polity sections. Very clear? चलिए, so let's start. We will start with the basic of polity and constitution sections. So अब इसमें हम देखेंगे कि बेसिक से कौन कौन से क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं यूपीएससी में. एंड इन दिस सेक्शंस वी विल बी कवरिंग फ्रॉम 2011 to 2024. Approx 13 to 14 year questions we will be there from each topic. जिससे भी क्वेश्चन जिस साल में पूछे गए वो सारे क्वेश्चंस we will cover and we will discuss in detail. If you see this slide, you will be getting an idea कि हमारे left side में the question is been asked, we have marked the answer, and the right side is the concept or a slide which will substantiate our answer कि support कर रहा है कि कैसे answer वो it is been correct or not. Clear? So let's begin. So we will start with the first questions under the basic of polity and constitutions. The first question, this was asked in the recent 2024, this year. The question has been asked from this basic, right? So let's see the questions. Which of the following statements are correct? Now one thing we need to understand, we need to read the questions very correctly, the keyword like correct, incorrect. बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हमें questions आता हुआ भी हम गलत मार्क कर देते हैं just because we are in hurry. हम incorrect की जगह correct पढ़ लेते हैं something. So that should not be done. This should be डेवलप थ्रू अ प्रैक्टिस. इसलिए हम ये सीरीज के साथ आ रहे हैं कि आपको आपके प्रिपरेशन में आपको हेल्प कर सकें हम इन योर प्रिपरेशन एंड वी विल ट्राई टू बी अ पार्ट ऑफ योर सक्सेस. ठीक है, चलिए. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट. सो विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग स्टेटमेंट आर करेक्ट अबाउट द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया? सो द क्वेश्चन इज टॉकिंग अबाउट द Constitution of India. So it is not basically why we have kept this question under basic polity and constitution, because this is not from a basic any particular topic, rather it is covering the holistic of the constitutions. Okay? So we can say it is a basic. So first question says the power of municipalities are given under part 9A of the constitutions. Yeah, right? Second says emergency provisions are given under part 18 of the constitutions. Third statement, provisions related to amendment of the constitutions are given part 20 of the constitutions, right? And this question is a direct question, directly come from the constitutions. आपको part याद होने चाहिए. It is expected कि the part at least certain articles like important article from 1st to 51A और उसके बाद के articles में भी आप you should be remembering all those articles, right? Important articles like president का impeachment किस articles के through है ना, appointment of judges and all this has to be important article that has to be remembered. So this related to the statement, it says which is the correct. So all of this statement are correct because this is a direct and very basic question. So ऐसे questions में try to not make it or mark it a wrong answer, क्योंकि ये questions अगर आप इसमें गलत करते हो so it will be very difficult to clear the cutoff. Clear? So the answer would be D. Now if you see the part of the constitutions in this side, so I have given this is a part and the article related to the constitutions and the areas covering under this constitution, right? The first part talks about the union and its territory, that covers article 1 to 4. Second part is citizenship covering 5 to 11. Third part is fundamental rights covering 12 to 35. Part 4, 36 to 51, Article 36 to 51, Directive Principle of State Policies. Part 4A is 51A, Fundamental Duties, was added by the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. पार्ट फिफ्थ जो है वो 52 आर्टिकल 52 टू आर्टिकल 151 दैट इज यूनियन गवर्नमेंट दैट इंक्लूड्स द executive and parliament all, right? Part 6 talks about the 152 to 237. Then part 7 is 238 dealing with the part in and this has been repealed. So this part of the constitution is not existence in constitution and this was repealed by the 7th Constitutional Amendment Act 1956 by a reorganization state. Okay? Now this part 8 is about the union territories. Part 9 is about a panchayat that deals in 243A to article 243O and the questions come is part 9A 243P to 243ZZ the municipality. So the first of the given statement is true. If you see that says the part 11A deals with the power of municipality. Yes, it is true. So next part is part 10 talks about a scheduled and tribal areas. Then part 11 talks about a relationship between union and the state. Part 12 finance, property, contract and suits. Part 13 it deals with the trade, commerce, intercourse within the territory of India. Part 14 is service under the union and states. Part 14A is administrative tribunal is also added by 42nd Amendment Act 1976. Part 15 is about elections provisions and election commissions. Part 16 is about special provisions for the reservation of SC, ST, Anglo-Indians. Part 17 is official language and again the questions has been asked from the part 18 is of the emergency provisions. Yes, the emergency provision that is from article 352 to article 360 covered under the part 18 of the constitution. So this is also true. Next part 19 deals with the miscellaneous provisions that is immunity of president and legislature. Part 20 again the question is asked is an amendment to the constitution that is dealt under article 368. So if we see the basic of the constitutions when you have started preparing either you have been preparing for 1 year, 2 year or more than 2 years, you have given your attempt. So आपने ये parts और schedule और article देखा होगा. So this question is very easy and this is directly from the factual questions and direct from the constitutions. Is it clear? ठीक है, this is the first questions. Now move to the next questions. So next questions, the question 2 which and this was asked in 2023, year 2023. So which one of the following statements best reflect the chief purpose of the constitution of country? Now अब क्या है इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस में what we need to understand first thing that UPSC has asked the best of the options. It does not ask what is the chief purpose of constitution but it says best of them. So हो सकता है कि आपको इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस में ऑप्शंस ऐसे मिले जो आपको यू मे बी अ कॉन्ट्राडिक्टरी ऑप्शंस और जहां पर आपको लगे कि 2 स्टेटमेंट सही लग रहे हैं 3 सही लग रहे हैं हाउ टू मार्क एन आंसर. सो वी नीड टू अगेन गो टू द क्वेश्चंस डायरेक्शंस ऑफ द क्वेश्चन व्हिच सेज हमें बेस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट यानी वी नीड टू फाइंड द मोस्ट एप्रोप्रिएट आंसर फ्रॉम द गिवन statement. So we need to find the most appropriate, right, and related to chief purpose of the constitution of a country, right. Now what does the constitution do? Okay, so first it determines the objective for the making of necessary laws. Yes, it's do through the DPSP. Yes, it does, but does it having a best among the or chief purpose? Let's see. It enables the creation of political office and a government. Yes, again political office जिसके through जैसे suppose if we talk about article 249 that deals with all India services political office, then president article 53, right. These are the certain articles which is dealing with them. Does it have a basic or a best of the chief purpose? Let's see. It defines and limits the power of the government, right. So this is the constitution that is main functions of the best among all this is that it limits the power. It means the best among is the constitutionalism. Constitutionalism. Is it clear? So our answer among this is C because it is the best among the given options. If you see the Third, last option is secure social justice, social equality, and social security. That is talking about that is a objective given in the preamble and through part third and part 4, that is fundamental duties and DPSP, this has been secured, right? All of these options जो आप देख रहे हैं आपके options में, these all are the certain purposes of this, right? But we need to find a best of the among and the most appropriate answer. So the most appropriate answer is C. Now why it is C? There may be a questions कि C क्यों? डी भी तो है जो सोशल जस्टिस सोशल इक्वालिटी की बात कर रहा है, लाइक आर्टिकल 17, अगर सोशल इक्वालिटी इफ देयर इज नॉट एन एबोलिशन ऑफ अनटचेबिलिटी, तो हाउ वी कैन क्रिएट एन इक्वालिटी इन द सोसाइटी, मे बी ए क्वेश्चन मे बी देयर, राइट? और if it is not provide a government law making process, how the elected government will function. But if we go through very deeply under this or very कॉन्शियसली, तो आप एक चीज नोटिस करेंगे कि अगर गवर्नमेंट के पावर को लिमिट नहीं करते हैं, दैट इज राइट, दैट लिमिटिंग पावर मीन्स लेस इंटरप्रेटिंग इन द और इंटरप्टिंग इनटू द सिटीजन्स लाइफ, राइट? तो गवर्नमेंट का जो फंक्शन है वो लेस लिमिटेड है, वो ज़्यादा interpretations or interruptions नहीं है, then only this all will be possible. So this all the three options followed to C, right? It is most important कि government power should be limited. So this is the best of the chief purpose of constitution. Is it clear? Hope this may be clear कि इस type of questions को हमें कैसे deal करना है, right? Now if we see the constitutions, certain fact about the constitutions. So the Constitution of India is a supreme legal authority which binds the legislature, executive and judicial organ of the government. That is meant it is limiting the government. As we know that there are three organs of government. Three organs of government. One is executive, legislative and judiciary. So constitution is binding, which is a supreme legal authority, that is highest law of the land, highest law of the land, supreme legal authority which binds. Now this binding, it means putting restrictions on this. So the constitution grants all citizen fundamental rights, yes, through social equality, social justice, and empowers their independent judiciary to invalidate legislation or government actions which violate constitutions. So अब देखिए यहाँ पर judiciary को empower कर रहा है through judicial review. That judicial review, it is one of the again a main functions, or we can say that one of the functions of constitutions through which and citizens को or the constitution should alive or constitution should maintain if any act of the legislature or executive invalidate, right, constitutions. Some of the other key features of the constitutions are federal system of government between union and states, separation of power between the three organs of the government, as we have discussed what are the three organs: executive, legislature, judiciary, free and fair elections, equality before the law, and a secular state that recognize freedom of conscience and religions. So these are the certain features of constitution that is mentioned, or we can say, but the best among them or the best functions of the constitution is that it defines and limits the functions of government and its power. Is it clear? So let's move to the next questions. The next question was also been asked in 2023. So this questions, let's see the questions. Consider the following statement in respect of Constitution Day. So when we are going to celebrate, when we are celebrating a Constitution Day, so we celebrate a Constitution Day on the 26th of November every year. Clear? So we have to discuss, and on that line we need to answer these questions. Now this statement or the questions again revive the one of the oldest pattern of UPSC, that is assertion and reasoning. Assertion and reason. Right. Now under this what we need to do, the first statement indicates the assertion, the given statement. The second is a reason. We need to find कि the statement of the first is backed or is supported or is just because of the two. So second statement must be supporting the first one or not, that we need to find. And initially for that we need to find, first we will find whether the both the given statement true or not. If both are the true, then again we need to find whether the second is supporting the first or not. Just because of the second, the first is happening, right? So it means we can say the second statement is cause and the first is effect of the second. So we need to find out this. So let's see this. So the Constitution Day is celebrated on 26th November every year to promote constitutional values among citizens. Yes, it is true. Every year we celebrate the constitutions on November 26th. Why? Because on the same date, 26th November 1949, we have completed our constitution. So to mark the completion of constitutions and values of constitutional citizens, we celebrated 26th November as a constitutional day. Now statement 2, on 26th November 1949, the Constituent Assembly of India set up a drafting committee under chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to prepare draft constitution of India, right? So now as I said that the first and second statement are in the form of assertion and reasoning. So first statement क्या कह रहा है कि on 26 November हम every year we celebrate a Constitution Day. Why? Because इसी दिन, the same day, the second statement says because. So what we can do? So we can put a term because, and after that because on the same day the Constituent Assembly, as we know that the Assembly to draft a constitution, set up a drafting committee of under chairmanship of B.R. Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar के अंडर में ड्राफ्टिंग कमेटी बनी थी on the same date, and to celebrate that or on the same occasion, to celebration of that occasion, we celebrate a 26th of November. So no, this is false. This is incorrect. So if now through this example you can understand how to make or how to understand or derive the answer from the assertion and reasoning. So this is a incorrect statement. There are two false statement or incorrect in this. The first, that we are not celebrating 26th November because of the drafting committee was appointed on this day, right? That is been is a second, or you can say is another day where the drafting committee was appointed. The reason behind why we are celebrating 26th November is that on the same date in 1949 we have completed our constitutions, right? A date of, we can say, adoptions of the date, not adoptions within but and completions of constitution was done, right? So second is false. Now अब अगर आप देखें इस टाइप के स्टेटमेंट में, तो फोर आंसर we have given. The first says both A and first statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. They both the correct, we might be asking this or this. So this would be incorrect. But we have a second, so answer would be C, which says that statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Is it clear? Now किस सिनेरियो में हम स्टेटमेंट 1 को लगाएंगे? तो we will mark an answer A when both the statement might be correct, जब दोनों स्टेटमेंट सही हो are correct, and that second is a correct explanation for statement 1. It means second become the cause for the effect. This is a correct explanation, but this is not a correct explanation, so this is wrong. B, one will be marked a big B answer when both the statement are correct, but statement 2 is not a correct explanations, right? So here we have seen that the second statement is not correct, so C is our answer, where says the option C says statement 1 is correct but statement 2 is incorrect. Clear? और अगर statement 1 incorrect हो और statement 2 correct हो, then we would have marked D, but our answer is C. I hope this concept of assertion and reasoning is clear, so how to approach these questions. Clear? Now let's see, it's about the Constitution Day, if we see. So let's see about the Constitution's Day. Since when we have started to celebrating our Constitution's Day, and some fact related to this. So the Constitution Day, also known as Samvidhan Divas, also known as a National Law Day, is celebrated in India on 26th day of the November every year to commemorate the adoptions of the Constitution of India, as we have seen that in this 1949, in 1949 we have adopted it, right? Now on the 26th November was declared as a Constitution Day by the Government of India on 19th November 2015 by Gazette notifications. So one thing also we can understand from here, or we can see that this celebration of Constitution Day on the 26th November is not been done before 2015. It was started from 2015 when the government has notified in the Gazette of India, right? So the celebrations or observations of 26th November has been from 2015. Clear? Now if you see the objective of the module are, what are the objective behind celebrations of 26th November? First, to promote knowledge about the salient feature of the Constitution of India. So it is provided, we are celebrating that everyone should know what are the features of the Constitution of India. Collect information on prominent personalities associated with the making of constitutions. We should know who all are involved in a constitutions making, like Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and all, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, right, J.B. Kripalani, all those who are associated with the making of constitutions. Then creative plan, the celebration of the Constitution's Day. So these are the objective to celebrate the Constitution Day on 26th of November. Is it clear? So hope this is clear. Now we will move to the next questions. So next questions, this question was asked in 2021. So question say constitutional government means. Now we need to which type. So when we say that we have a constitutional government, what does it mean, right? So if we see the same type of questions we have already been discussed. So this questions, that's what I am trying to say. इस questions को कर लेते हैं पहले, फिर मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि what is the motive behind or objective behind this type of series what we have started by the introspection IS. So let's see, we will see what type of constitutional government means. So a representative government of a nation with a federal structure, that just means a government whose head enjoys nominal power, a government whose head. So we have, as we know, we have a two types of head. One is head of a state, head of state, which is a president of India, and the second is head of a government, which is Prime Minister of India, right? So it says the government whose head, means head of the government enjoys nominal power. No, head of the state is a nominal power in a parliamentary form of government, which is different from the presidential form of government. So in parliamentary form of government, president is a nominal head, not the prime minister. Where prime minister is a real executive or real head, right? Because president has to functions on the aid and advice of a council headed by the prime minister. So this is not the statement or our answer. Now next, a government whose head enjoys nominal power. No, the head is also not enjoys nominal power. Sorry, this is a repeated of the options among this. So this is also not, sorry, the same repetitions of statement is there. Next, if we see the third, a government limited by the terms of the constitutions. Yes, the constitutional government means the government only known that they have been limited. They have to functions according to the constitutions, and constitution has limited their power. Now what I am trying to say by this questions, अगर हम इस questions को compare करें with the very first questions of our the very second question, this chief purpose of the constitution is to limit the power of the government, right? Again, it means what we can say, the questions of second and fourth questions as a type of repetitions but with a different language. So through this series what we have started, we will try to resolve those petty issues also कि जिसमें repetitions of questions है but हम confuse हो जाते हैं कि कैसे करना उसे, तो हम वहाँ पर आपको help करेंगे, try to link how it has been repeated questions. ठीक है? Is it clear? So and the constitutional government are those who has been limited by the power of the constitutions. Clear? Now let's see the explanations of this. So the constitutional government is a government that runs according to the constitution of the land, right? It refers to a government which is limited by the constitution, which might be written or unwritten. We all know there are two types of constitutions, written and unwritten constitution, right? So whether it is written or unwritten, but they have to mark with the limited by the constitution. The rules and policies of the government are limited by constitutions which describe the basic law of the land. A constitution is a set of established principles according to which a state is governed. It means the constitution is a law of the land. No law in the land is above the constitution. So the constitution have a supreme authority of the land. Clear? So this is a constitutional government means. Okay? Chaliye, let's see the next questions. Next questions was asked in 2021. So it says which one of the following in Indian polity is an essential feature that indicates that it is a federal in character. Right now again we need to now up isko compare as we have seen in the second questions. Let me go to the second questions. Again if you see in this question, so in this we not need to find the purpose of the constitutions, rather we need to find the best among them. Clear? Similarly, this question is also talking about the essential features, right? Not only the features, but an essential feature of an federal characters in the constitutions, right? So out of the options, if you see, so the independence of judiciary is safeguard. If the independence of judiciary is an essential feature or not, the union legislature has elected representative from constituent unit, that is a state. This is also feature. Union cabinet can have elected representative from regional party. Okay, representations of party, we can say that representation of party, representation of parties. The fundamental rights enforceable by court of law. If you see this C option, this is not a feature of a federal government, rather it is a feature of an parliamentary form of government. The reason behind why we have adopted a parliamentary form of government, right? If you see this, the union legislature elected representative from the constituent unit. This is also showing that the equal not equal, but everyone has a representation that is similar to that of a parliamentary form of government. The first option, that is independence of a judiciary safeguard, this is an essential feature. Now why it is an essential feature? If you see, essential feature of the federal systems, because in federal, as we know, an arrangement, such type of arrangement, such arrangement is made between the union government and its units, that is in terms of state. In India we can say that state government, union government is known as a federal government. ठीक है, हम यहाँ पे फेडरल गवर्नमेंट करते हैं और एक यूनिट गवर्नमेंट की हम बात करते हैं यहाँ पर इंडिया के टर्म्स में, अगर इफ स्पीक इन टर्म्स ऑफ इंडिया। तो एक ऐसा सच अरेंजमेंट है कि दिस द फेडरल गवर्नमेंट विल नॉट इंटरफेयर इन द sphere of or jurisdiction of state government, and state government will not interfere in the jurisdiction of union government. But if suppose, as such, this is a constitutional provisions or constitutional mechanism, but in practice there may be many occasions जहाँ पर there is an interference by either of the government into the another space. अब क्या हो सकता है कि कभी कभी यूनियन गवर्नमेंट स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के फंक्शंस में इंटरफेयर करे, या स्टेट गवर्नमेंट किसी फंक्शंस एग्जीक्यूटिव और लेजिस्लेटिव और एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव फंक्शंस में दे इंटरफेयर इन द यूनियन गवर्नमेंट. नाउ इफ अ judiciary which is there to protect the constitution, so judiciary is there to protect the constitution, judiciary to establish a supremacy of constitution, supremacy of constitutions. So that to establish the supremacy of constitution, now when we talk about supremacy, every government at every level, the government has to function according to the constitutions. They cannot bypass the constitution by any means, right? The highest law of the land, उसको bypass नहीं कर सकते हैं. They cannot overturn or they cannot cross the limit which has been set by the constitutions. So to maintain this, it is necessary कि judiciary जो वो independent हो. It means it should not be dependent on anyone. It should function as independent from the executive, independent from the legislature. It means they functions independently. Then only in the form of independence they will be unbiased. क्लियर. सो ये अनबायस्ड की तरह काम करेंगे तो इट विल बी पुट रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, इट विल ट्राई टू इम्पोज द प्रोविजंस ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशंस. So the best essential feature of the federal system is to have an independent judiciary is safeguarded. Is it clear? इसलिए जुडिशरी की इंडिपेंडेंस को बचाए रखी जाती है. एंड दिस independence provisions of judiciary has been safeguarded through the constitutional provisions. Right? Is it clear? ठीक है. So this is why we have the answer to this question is first options, that independence of judiciary. Now if you see the features of a federal government, so in Indian constitutions, according to Indian constitution, so written constitution, yes we have a written constitution, yes we have a supremacy of constitution. Now this supremacy of constitution means no law is above the constitution, and every government, maybe a union government or a state government, is limited by the provisions of government, constitution, by the provisions of constitutions. ठीक है, that is the supremacy of constitution. Division of power between union and states, yes, through 7th schedule there is a 3 list: union list, state list and concurrent list, and this is a division of power between the union and states. Bicameral legislatures, as we know, parliament has a bicameral legislature. Let me erase this. Bicameral legislature means parliament having a 2 houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Similarly, certain state legislature also having a 2 houses, assembly and council. Certain, not all the state, but certain states having a 2 houses. Clear? Then independent judiciary, yes it is an independent judiciary. And rigidity of the constitutions, again it is one of the federal feature. Rigidity of the constitution means that hard to amend or hard to make changes into the constitutions. It is not impossible, or it is not systems where the constitution cannot be changed, but the process which has been mentioned in the constitution to change the constitution is rigid. And dual polity means a 2-tier system. 2-tier government, that is government at the center, that is known as a union government, and government at the state, that is state government or unit government, whatever you can say. It's clear? So this is the features. Now among all these features, this is the most important, that is maintaining independence of judiciary. Why? Because this, the independence of judiciary होने पर ही supremacy of constitution will establish. जब भी कोई disputes होगी union और states में या between states and states, so judiciary will help to establish a supremacy. अगर किसी के fundamental rights का enforcement होता है, किसी के fundamental rights का violation होता है, तो there is a judiciary to establish the fundamental rights. So through this, so this is important because through this all the features can be established. Is it clear? ठीक है? So let's move to the next questions. Now next questions which was asked in 2021, it is which one of the following best defines the term state, right? Now यहाँ पर the state term is not related to Article 12 of the Constitution or Article 36 of the Constitutions, right? This state does not mean the state governed under the constitutions, but the state means and general perspective of the state in political terms. What does the state means? ठीक है, तो अगर एक हम स्टेट को जनरलाइज और एक जनरल प्रीव्यू में देखें तो स्टेट हैड 4 features of this. That state must having its own population, right? Having its own defined territory, the territory should be there, right? Having its own government, and the government must be sovereign in nature. So if all this, not any of this, but all these features is available to any political community, that political community will be considered as a state. So अगर ये सब provisions, ये सब features किसी एक political community में हैं तो हम उस political community को state consider कर लेते हैं. अगर मैं बात करूं before 1947 was India a state? Though it has its own population, has its defined territory, there was a government. Do the India has a sovereignty? No. it has not its own government, rather later half में 1935-36 बाद government आने लगी, but sovereignty नहीं थी. So India was not a state before 1947, but after independence and after commencement of constitution, that is 26th January 1950, India becomes a sovereign nation and it has its own government. So we can say that after 26 January 1950, India becomes a state in political arena. Clear? So let's see the options. Which of the options is defined or satisfy the this all the four features of state. A community of people permanently occupying a defined territory. Community of people means populations. So community of peoples, when we talk, means populations. Yes, permanently occupying a defined territory. So yes, it is a territory, its own territories, its own populations. Independent of external control means it is a sovereign, and possessing an organized government means it is having its own government. So the first option of the question 6, which was asked in 2021, is satisfied all the four the features of state, that it is having its own territory, populations, having its own permanent territory and its own government and sovereignty.